Hello and welcome to Daily News Capsule. Let's go through the important pieces of news that have come in the newspaper of today, that is the Hindu newspaper. The first piece of news, or rather an important article that has appeared in today's newspaper, and the title of the article is The Master Plan and the Slaves. Now, this article is with respect to the utility of master plans in urban planning. And this news article becomes important with respect to urban local bodies, which is an important component of the syllabus of the various competitive examinations, including the civil service examination. Now, the article goes through in this way that Amitabh Kant, India's G20 Sherpa, stressed at a recent Urban 20 Cities Sherpas meet that a master plan is crucial for any city to manage urbanization. There have been similar calls in the past. Now, the author raises a question that are master plans really a panacea for all the problems, could it provide all the solutions? Now, the author goes on to say that a master plan is an instrument for governance for urban local bodies. It has recently received extensive attention in the national policy discussions, and rightly so. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has recommended that the master plans in cities should be revisited for the improved governance of cities. The National Mission for Clean Ganga has been advocating such a step to protect urban water bodies, yet the idea has not advanced beyond exonerations. And the author raises a question that why it is so. Much need to be understood, for the scholarship on the master plan is puzzlingly shallow. Now, the author says that the renewed focus on the concept of master plan is to be welcomed, but few acknowledge its distinct status as a sole statutory instrument for governance. Now, in the build-up to this article, the analysis of this article, please understand that urban local bodies are part and parcel of what is called as the local level governance. Urban local bodies cater to the needs and demands of the urban areas. Now, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs look into the policy matters of these urban areas, and the author is trying to analyze that are the master plan to develop an urban area to provide governance to the urban area. Are these master plans the right approach to find solutions to all the problems? It is in this context that this article has come into picture. Now, the author says that the master plan is an archaic concept whose sales pitch is more spectacular than its performance. There are at least 4 reasons for this. First reason is that the master plan instrument is dated, meaning thereby it is an outdated concept. The concept, configuration and rationalities of this instruments, as well as institutional structures surrounding it, were conceived by template legislations drafted in the 1950s. These were then replicated by state as laws of town planning, and these concepts do not accommodate later sensibilities such as imperatives of environmental protection that can be linked to 1974 when the Water Act was enacted. So, first reason for his criticism, or you can say not attaching much importance to the role of master plans, is that the very concept of master plan is an outdated concept because it came into picture in the 1950s. Now, at that point of time, the governments, the institutions, the civil society never took into account that what would be the future possibilities, what would be the future eventualities, which has been highlighted by the author himself, those eventualities related to environmental protection. The second point that the author highlights is that a master plan is simply a spatial plan for land use allocation supported by bylaws and development control regulations. Thus, it essentially embodies a spatial vision of cities, meaning thereby it is having aerial analysis of the area is more important when it comes to master plans. The third reason that he provides is that the spatial vision, this aerial analysis, is at the core of institutional structures, cultures, and practices of urban local bodies. The edifice of urban governance is built around this spatial vision and provision of urban services. The urban local bodies are cultivated and shaped by the agenda of regulating spatial growth, and remain slave to these ideas and conceptions. As a result, the demands imposed on them by new vision of programmatic plans suffer, meaning thereby a master plan, if it is area based, if it is an aerial analysis, if it is an analysis of an area, obviously would be catering to the needs and demands of that area itself, meaning thereby the all the policies and programs that would be coming into picture would be within the four walls of that master plan itself, and it would not be, the master plan itself would not be able to incorporate new things, new needs and demands that come into picture every now and then into its structure. Apart from this, the master plan itself would be governing the administrative or the institutional structure as well, and therefore the master plans, according to the author, are found lacking in providing a holistic approach towards the development of urban areas as well as the urban local bodies. The author continues further and says that the statutory and spatial nature of master plans can pose constraints on programmatic plans, especially the spatially associated ones such as the plans for the protection of water bodies. Most water body related projects negotiate the challenges of encroachment of floodplains, as encroachment is ex post facto. So, should the instrument of master plan be reimagined to accommodate these emerging demands and sensibilities of urban governance? Now, he raises a question and he gives an example of water bodies. Please understand that master plan comes first, implementation comes later, but encroachment, if it is a process, then that process is constantly ongoing and it would be happening everywhere. Now the question is that whether a master plan that has come up earlier, is it in a position to counter the menace of encroachment that started, say, from today itself? So this is the point that is raised by the research scholar, the author in his article. Now, he further says that there is a need for reimagining the spatial planning. The spatial analysis should be reimagined. Therefore, he says, urban planning in India must be reimagined urgently. And how it is to be done? He says that first, we must acknowledge that the master plan instrument may be limited by its archaic conceptions and entrenched institutional culture. Second, there is no need to go far for lessons to do this. Indian cities offer enough experiences to learn from. For instance, many states have tried implementing the inadequacies of master plans with innovative bylaws. Much of this experimental and experiential understanding is, however, dispersed and is restricted to the domain of praxis. Meaning thereby we can take, he says that what is the alternative? He suggests that we can go for the experiences of various cities, various states, and how they have provided innovation, how they have innovated in this domain, and that could be incorporated in improving the urban local body governance and urban architecture, urban structures. Thirdly, he says that the incapacities in urban planning and governance highlighted by the 2021 report of the Niti Aayog must receive priority. Meaning thereby he is highlighting the importance of this Niti Aayog report, which came in the year 2021. And it should begin with an elevated attention to the spatial town planning profession and education. The era of planetary urbanization brings spatial planning into sharp focus and calls for reimagining the spatial planning framework in India. Further, he says that recent moves such as Gati Shakti and Model Rural Transformation Act are reflections of this growing demand. But he criticizes in a way and says that these acts are too feeble, remote, and limited, and asks the central government that it should work with the states to reconsider spatial planning framework in India. So all in all, what is the author trying to say? Author is trying to highlight the lacunas, the weaknesses, the weak points of the master plan approach to urban governance, urban local body administration, as well as urban development. And then he says that master plan approach should be reinvigorated, or you can say re-engineered, to take into account the current day realities, and innovation is very much required in this regard. So this was the first piece of information that came your way. And the next piece of information in today's newspaper that is newsworthy is the IMF's view, Indian International Monetary Fund's view on cryptocurrency in Latin America, and the reasons why it has changed. So let's see this. Now, on June 22, the International Monetary Fund issued a statement on the use of cryptocurrency in Latin America and Caribbean market, and about the rising interest in blockchain-based central bank digital currencies. The Global Monetary Authority ended its statement noting that a ban on cryptocurrency may not be effective in the long run in this region. Now, this change, the international organization's change in the stance on crypto in Latin American market has raised many eyebrows. Why? Because previously it was having a different view. Now, please understand that why IMF is focusing on the Latin America and the cryptocurrency economy over there. Now, countries like Argentina, Chile, and Colombia have experienced devaluation of their currency against US dollar. Now, to preserve the value of their savings, some residents have explored converting their funds to US dollars. However, there are legal restrictions controlling this. Others have chosen to convert their assets to stable coins, which are cryptocurrencies designed to reflect the value of fiat currency, of the legal currency such as US dollar. Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and Ecuador are among the top 20 in the Chainalysis 2022 Global Crypto Adoption Index. Now, these three countries, Argentina, Colombia, and Ecuador, they are featuring in the top 20 list of countries, the index that has been brought out by the name of Chainalysis 2020 Global Crypto Adoption Index. Reason being why people are favoring cryptocurrencies, because of the devaluation that is coming into picture. Moving further, El Salvador is the first country. Now, this is an important piece of factual information, that El Salvador is the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, as its legal tender. The country, with a population of 6.5 million, adopted Bitcoin on 7th September 7, 2021, under the leadership of its president, Nayib Bukele, who is an ardent crypto supporter. Now, when the president himself is very much in favor of cryptocurrency, then obviously the domestic policy would be going in that direction. Now, how did IMF? Now, question is that how did IMF? What is the response of IMF to this, to the adoption of Bitcoin by El Salvador? How has IMF reacted? Now, IMF said that it was against El Salvador's move, citing fiscal risks and consumer protection issues. According to its statement, the Monetary Fund's executive director urged the authorities to narrow the scope of Bitcoin law by removing Bitcoin's legal tender status. They were further concerned by the president's Bitcoin, President Bukele, the president of El Salvador. They were further concerned by President's Bitcoin-backed bonds ideas. El Salvador was told that its adoption of Bitcoin might affect its application for a loan of 1.3 billion, and this was reported by Bloomberg, the news website, in 2022. This is why IMF's latest blog post on crypto and CBDC. CBDC is this central bank digital currencies, CBDC, used in Latin America and the Caribbean, came as a surprise to many. Why? Because on one hand, previously it was saying that El Salvador should restrict its cryptocurrency, you can say, favoring attitude, and now they are saying that restricting cryptocurrency would not be effective in the long run. So this is the reason why this issue becomes important and this article becomes important. The post also called for regulation of cryptocurrencies. What post? The post that has been made by the IMF, the latest post that they have made. The post also called for a regulation of cryptocurrency and recording cryptocurrency transactions for transparency. Now, this entire section of the article becomes important for the examination purpose, specifically the objective type based questions, that what is the difference between a cryptocurrency and a CBDC. Cryptocurrencies and CBDCs are both blockchain based digital currencies. However, while cryptocurrencies are generally run by private companies or individuals, a CBDC is controlled and tracked by country's central bank and corresponds to country's fiat currency. Fiat currency means the legal currency, the legal tender. Bitcoin's price may vary by hundreds or even thousands of dollars in a short period of time, and who is its founder is a mystery. On the other hand, CBDCs such as e-Naira, issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria, would ideally be worth as much as its physical counterpart. So another piece of information, that e-Naira is a cryptocurrency issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. While investors often buy large quantities of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies and hold them in hope of making a profit, this doesn't make sense in the case of CBDCs, as they are not meant for investment vehicles. So CBDC is not an investment vehicle. It is not like a share or a debenture or a stock. It is the digital counterpart of a legal currency, a legal tender having a physical form. The Chinese government, meanwhile, has energetically promoted its digital renminbi, e-RMB. It is the digital, or you can say, cryptocurrency of China. And transactions with its CBDC crossed $13.9 billion last year. China has, however, banned crypto mining and unregulated virtual assets in the country, promoting a large section of the mining population to flee to other countries. The Bahamas in the Caribbean was one of the first countries to officially introduce its sand dollar CBDC. So this portion of the article becomes important for our purpose, specifically for the pre-examination, objective type question based examination, and the remaining 3 sections are for the mains examination, important as well. So this much for today, and I'll see you on the next session. Thank you very much.